Welcome to A Park from the Rest. I'm Mark Blenheim, and here's what we have for you tonight. Packing Goodwill. How one volunteer is helping the community save money and a trip to the supermarket. Recycling trash. A look into what the St. Michel Environmental Complex is doing with the city's recycling. Hazards or housing. Tenants say their apartments are falling down around them and there's nothing they can do about it. Ornella Bersanetti joins us with the problem and some solutions. But first, there's a new way to find fruits and vegetables in Parc, a volunteer-based program that's giving you more for less. Our reporter Matthew Lafleur took a look at this new alternative for those of you who want to keep it fresh.
Every second Thursday, Edith Lafrenière comes to pick up her order of fresh fruits and vegetables. She's not walking into her local grocery store. She's actually heading into her neighbor's second-story apartment to pick up her good food box, a cheaper alternative to grocery store shopping.
Moi, l'épicerie qu'on a dans le quartier, là, je veux dire, des fois, il faut pratiquement que tu fasses un tri des fruits que tu vois parce que c'est pas toujours tout frais. Puis avec bonne boîte, bonne bouffe, les produits, vraiment, moi, je fais facilement confiance, là.
On Thursday mornings, the good food boxes are delivered to a drop-off point. Once they've been delivered, it is up to a coordinator to store the boxes. Julien Desrochers is the coordinator for Parc Extension. He keeps the boxes at his apartment for residents who ordered their own boxes in advance.
La livraison se fait aux 2 semaines, et puis la semaine avant la livraison, ben, les gens me confirment s'ils veulent avoir un panier. S'ils me disent qu'ils veulent en avoir un, ils me disent le format, petit, moyen ou gros. Puis moi, je prends ça en note, j'appelle à Bonne Boîte, Bonne Bouffe pour faire la commande, et la semaine d'après, ils livrent, et les gens viennent chercher.
The entire process starts here at an assembly line in the Montreal warehouse in Saint-Laurent. There are 3 different sized boxes with different amounts of fruits and vegetables inside. Depending on the season, the contents of the boxes will vary. This week's boxes had mangoes, plums, peppers, and beets, just to name a few. Once the boxes are filled, they are taken into a refrigerator until it is time for delivery. Most of the operation is run by volunteers, which can include kids, adults, and people with disabilities. Jamie McDonald is the regional coordinator for the Good Food Box program. She can't stress enough the importance of the volunteers.
The volunteering aspect of the program is the volunteers are what make the program run. Without the volunteers, we couldn't do such a program.
After another successful night of pickups, Julien has another week to wait before it starts over again.
Je pense qu'il y a beaucoup de personnes qui vont pouvoir éventuellement bénéficier quand le programme va être bien mis en branle comme il faut.
Right now, there are about 10 residents in Parc Extension who use the Good Food Box service. The project is still new to the city, and Montreal plans on buying a new refrigerated truck to ensure fresh delivery. For more information, check out your local community center and look for this pamphlet. For Apart from the Rest, I'm Matthew Lafleur reporting from Parc Extension.
For many of us, recycling has become second nature. But lately, what we put on the curb might not be going where we expect. Rebus Solid Canadien is the company that takes care of Montreal's recyclables. The RSC gathers them free of charge and processes them to make a profit. But with the way the global market is, the RSC says there's no cash coming in. Now, they can't afford to keep operating unless the city helps out. Before the recession, this massive center processed over 100,000 tons of waste each year. But for now, until the company finds a way to make money, the RSC says they have no choice but to let the piles keep growing. Livingstone Presbyterian Church is celebrating its 70th anniversary this year, but the parties are minimal because the church has no money. Pastor Peter Zabo is committed to helping newcomers, but it helps the church too. Every month, there's a free dinner to bring the community together and fill the pews. Pastor Zabo is worried the church won't survive without measures like this. The next meal takes place Thursday at 6 o'clock, 7110 Avenue de la Paix. Coming up later, the provincial government is giving out money to help immigrants, but not everyone will benefit. Vanessa Herrick is this week's Parc expert. Plus, small hands, big dreams. How a local training program is helping recent immigrants find work and integrate into the community. And stick around to see how a dance instructor from Chad is using the rhythms of Africa to bring the community together. Housing in Parc Extension has been a problem for years now. Many families live in apartments that aren't up to code, but the landlords are getting away with it because it can take 2 years before a complaint reaches the Quebec Rental Board. And even then, there are more delays before the tenancy results. Ornella Bersinetti is here with us to talk about the problem and some of the solutions. Hey Ornella.
Hello Mark.
How are you?
Good.
So how big is this problem?
Well, I talked to Denis Trépanier, who works at the Parc Extension Action Committee, and he told me that housing issue is very much present in Parc-Ex. Actually, every day tenants are knocking at this door for advice because the apartments are literally falling apart. So we took a walk in our neighborhood, and this is what we saw. We followed Abdil Hayat, who is a resident in Parc-Ex. As you can see on the images, the doors don't have locks, the steps are falling down, and the buildings are literally crumbling. As you can see, the ceilings are even falling down.
Like, you just saw this apartment in here, and I mean, the person were to say something about, well, on top of my bathroom, you know, I can see the floor of the next apartment above, you know, can you fix that? Well, it's obvious someone would have mentioned it to the landlord. It hasn't been fixed because the landlord doesn't have to fix it.
Ornella, with the images we just saw, how did we get to this point?
Well, as Denis Trépanier explained to me, the biggest problem is that some landlords take advantage of the fact that newcomers settle in the borough. So they know that even though their apartments do not conform to the sanitary regulations, they will still find someone willing to rent that kind of apartments. So they don't bother making the improvements.
So what are some steps people can take if they want to solve their problems?
Well, the first thing they can do is write a letter to their landlords explaining the types of problems and issues they're facing. If they don't speak French or English, they can go to Parc Extension Action Committee, where someone will help them write a letter. After a 10-day delay, if the landlord still hasn't taken any action, then they need to file a complaint through the Régie du Logement website at the address you can see on your screen right now. And even though the delays are long, it's the only way to go.
Thank you, Ornella.
Thanks, Mark.
It's not all bad news in Parc-Ex. Our reporter Teresa Smith has one woman's story. Nora Gunfood was down on her luck, but with the help of a nonprofit organization, she has a new lease on life.
A year ago, Nora Gunfood never thought she'd be working as a seamstress, but since coming to Canada, she's been through a lot.
Je suis venue même pas 8 mois, mon mari a décidé comme ça, subitement.
In order to survive, Nora needed a job. For that, she needed skills.
Je suis venue là pour faire une formation, pour prendre en autre des choses, et pour je cherche un travail, c'est tout.
Today is the last day of her 6-month training program. Through working at Petite Main, Nora can use sewing machines and produce clothing and accessories from various types of fabrics.
Next week, Nora will begin working as a seamstress using the skills she learned here. Over 80% of the women who go through this program find a job with one of the 35 partner organizations that Petite Main has in Montreal. More than a job, though, Nora has found a support network.
During a break in her workday, she's able to spend time with the friends she's made here. Dominique Millet has known Nora since the beginning.
Qu'elle soit venue ici, même si elle avait plus ou moins la tête à ça, au moins elle était avec d'autres femmes, elle avait du support, puis elle faisait quelque chose.
C'est comme une autre maison pour moi, pour une autre famille. Oui, le Petite Main, c'est ma famille.
Now that she has support and skills, Nora can focus on moving on and integrating into Quebec society.
C'est en train de vraiment devenir une Québécoise autonome. Elle comprend les systèmes de transport en commun, puis je pense qu'elle est de plus en plus fière d'elle. Je le vois, je le sens.
Comme je suis prête là pour le Petite Main, je suis prête à notre place, C'est ça la vie.
As Nora punches out, surrounded by her friends, she's a testament that life goes on. She has learned that small hands can make a big difference. For Apart from the Rest, I'm Teresa Smith on Nora's last day.
This year, the Quebec government gave $6 million to continue programs like the one that helped Nora. Every week, one of our reporters takes an issue and breaks it down. This week, Vanessa Herrick is our park expert.
The Quebec government took a step in the right direction last week when it announced it would be allocating $6 million new to work programs for immigrants just like Petite Main. The money will be divided between 50 programs in the city's poorest neighborhoods, just like Parc-Ex. It will be funding work programs for women and immigrants from North Africa. There needs to be government-funded programs for women who've recently emigrated to Montreal. Often they're providing for children or were denied education in their home countries. But other recent immigrants from developing countries should all be given an equal and fair shot to benefit from this kind of program. Finding employment in an unknown country is a challenge for all new Montrealers, and so the government should be creating programs based on need and not nationality. Equal education for equal opportunity is the key to a prosperous Parc X. I'm Vanessa Herrick, and I'm this week's Parc Expert.
She acts, she sings, and she knows how to make her own music video. Later in the program, we'll reveal who's been chosen for the Parc X Star of the Week. Africo Mouvement is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year, but this dance studio is teaching more than just moves. Jillian Kessel-Demore has the story.
Abdel Mabang Bousso Haji teaches dance from his native Chad. People from around Montreal come here to take classes with him. The dance Abdel teaches can be tough for those just starting out, but he's determined to keep the class energized. His students are both young and old, but they're all here to dance their way into another culture. It makes him happy that they're just as eager to learn as he is to teach.
Ouais, c'est en se frottant qu'on peut mieux se comprendre, mieux se découvrir et mieux se connaître. Tu vois? Parce que ça change de regard. La couleur elle ne change pas, mais on peut changer de regard sur cette couleur. C'est ça qui est important.
Also important to Abdel is helping his students learn and explore their own passions. For Isa Lemire Claudet, her passion is understanding the story behind the dance. She says that's what will always put a smile on her face.
Non, c'est bon, ça vide, puis c'est... Ben, c'est pas essentiellement joyeux, c'est juste que le fait de danser, moi, ça me fait vraiment plaisir.
The pulsating rhythm resonates throughout Abdel's class. It provides the soundtrack to a group of 5 moving as one and coming together through dance.
Mais le fait de le partager avec d'autres, voir que des gens d'autres cultures qui apprennent cette danse, moi je pense que vraiment c'est assez intéressant, c'est une démarche assez intéressante d'intégration.
For Apart from the Rest, I'm Jillian Kessel-Demore at Afrique en Mouvement.
Every week on Apart from the Rest, we like to acknowledge a rising star, someone who's making a difference and showing dedication to reach their goals. Maria Kelly is this week's star. Maria has trouble concentrating on her studies, but where she really shines is in front of the camera.
Moi, je suis une fille émotionnelle, puis j'aime ça exprimer mes émotions. Tu comprends? Puis en étant derrière, en jouant un rôle, ça me permet de faire différents rôles, puis ça me permet d'exprimer mes émotions.
At the Bloomfield Center, she takes cinema classes, where she learns how to make her own movies. Maria hopes these videos will be the first step on the road to stardom. If you know someone who deserves to be in the spotlight, email us at apartfromtherest@gmail.com. And that's all we have for you on Apart from the Rest. I'm Mark Blenheim, and I'll see you next week.
Yes. Why? Everybody is good here. Every government officer is good. Everything is good. So I like very much.
Ben, j'aime ça parce que c'est un quartier qui est multiculturel. Et ça fait pas longtemps que je suis déménagée. Je trouve que c'est un quartier très vivant.
Je l'aime beaucoup parce que tout le monde est différent.